Tommy has proposed to me again. Tommy really does nothing but propose to me. He proposed to me last night in the music room when I was quite unprotected as there was an elaborate trio going on. I didn't dare make the smallest repartee, I need hardly tell you. If I had, the music would have stopped at once. Musical people are so absurdly unreasonable. They always want one to be perfectly dumb when one is longing to be absolutely deaf. Then he proposed to me in broad daylight this morning in front of that dreadful statue of Achilles. Really, the things that go on in front of that work of art are quite appalling. The police should interfere. At luncheon, I could tell by the glare in his eye that he was going to propose again, and I just managed to check him in time by assuring him that I was a bimetallist. Fortunately, I don't know what bimetallism means. I don't believe anybody else does either, but the observation crushed Tommy for 10 minutes. He looked quite shocked. And then, Tommy is so annoying in the way he proposes. If he should propose to me at the top of his voice, I shouldn't mind so much, but he does it in this horrid, confidential way. When Tommy wants to be romantic, he talks to one just like a doctor. I wish, Gertrude, that you'd speak with him and tell him that once a week is quite often enough to propose to anyone, and it should always be done in a manner that attracts some attention. What studied torments tyrant has for me? What, wheels, racks, fires? What flaying, boiling, in leads or oils? What old or newer torture must I receive, whose every word deserves to taste of thy most worst? Thy tyranny, together working with thy jealousies, fancies too weak for boys, too green and idle for girls of 9. Oh, think what they have done, and then run mad indeed. Stark mad. For all thy bygone fooleries were but spices of it. That thou betrayedst Polixenes, 'twas nothing. That did but show thee of a fool, inconstant and damnable and grateful. Nor was it much thou would have poisoned good Camillo's honor to have him kill a king. Poor trespasses. More monstrous standing by, whereof I reckon the casting forth to crows thy baby daughter, to be or none or little, though a devil would have shed water out of fire ere done it. Nor was it directly laid to thee the death of the young prince, whose honorable thoughts high for one so tender, cleft the heart that could conceive a gross and foolish sire, blemished his gracious dam. This is not, no, laid to thy answer, but the last. Oh, lords, when I have said, cry woe, the queen, the sweetest, dearest creature's dead, and vengeance for it not dropped down yet. Boldness comes to me and brings me heart. Prince Troilus, I have loved you night and day for many weary months. Hard to seem one, but I was one, my lord, with the first glance that ever... Pardon me. If I confess much, you will play the tyrant. I love you now, but till now, not so much. But I might master it. In faith, I lie. My thoughts were like unbridled children grown too headstrong for their mother. See, we fools. Why have I blabbed? Who shall be true to us when we are so unsecret to ourselves? But though I loved you well, yet I wooed you not. And yet, good faith, I wished myself a man, or that we women had men's privilege of speaking first. Sweet, bid me hold my tongue, for in this rapture I shall surely speak the thing I shall repent. See, your silence, cunning and dumbness, in my weakness draws my very soul a counsel from me. Stop my mouth.
In other words, just from worrying whether the wedding is on or off, a person can develop a cough. You can feed her all day with the vitamin A and the bromo fizz, but the medicine never gets anywhere near where the trouble is. If she's getting a kind of a name for herself and the name ain't his, a person can develop a grip. In other words, compartment is air-conditioned and the mood's sublime. Then they get off at Saratoga for the 14th time. A person can develop la grip, post-nasal drip with the wheezes and the sneezes and a sinus that's really a pip from a lack of community property and a feeling she's getting too old. A person can develop a bad cold.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Kiran Ray.
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'5.5".
Okay. And tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm an actor based in New York City. I also am a stand-up comedian. And but my main background and training would be in Shakespeare and classical works. I went to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, and I worked for and studied at the Shakespeare Theater Company in Washington, D.C. And my comedic background would be at the Upright Citizens Brigade here in New York, doing improv, as well as I mentioned before, the stand-up comedy.
Where are you from?
I'm from D.C. originally, but a good chunk of my childhood was spent in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia and Abu Dhabi.
Amazing. You
Foreign
speak Arabic?
Brat. I speak a tiny bit of Arabic, but their English was way too good there. And for whatever reason, the international school I was in made us study French. Yeah, but I can say a few things. Marhaba, kif halik? Yeah. And I'm actually I just started working with an interactive theater company here in New York, and I'm really excited to see where that goes.
Oh, have you done interactive theater before? Or
Yeah, I have. I used to I still do perform with a company called Cirque de Nuit here in New York, and they mostly work events, parties, high-end events and things like that. But it's a collection of circus performers and actors and dancers and contortionists, and we all interact with people at parties, and we usually have crazy costumes and characters that we're in throughout the night, and that's a lot of fun. I really like doing that.